Hi, Year 7. Just want to make you a quick video and go through this assessment notification and marking criteria with you. Now, you should have already started your assessment. Some of you might even be finished, which is awesome. If you are finished, that's cool. Just watch this video anyway, and if there's anything new or something you might have missed before, you can just go back and touch up your assessment task. So, I'm not too sure if you've had an assessment this term. You should have, but just in case you haven't, let me just explain a bit of this. So, it's due, the first week back will be due on our Thursday lesson, period 1. The weighting is 30%. What that means is it's worth around about a third of your final mark for PDHPE this year. Now, this assessment task, it's out of 20, okay? So if you have a look at this stuff here, the outcomes, they're just kind of for the teacher. That's what the state says that you need to learn about in PDHPE, and so this is what we're measuring in this assessment task. This assessment task is about different relationships with different people. So let's start. I'm going to work backwards, okay? Because I think that this is the order you should be thinking about it in. Step 3, bibliography. Hopefully you have been keeping tabs of, saving your browser history in a folder, perhaps on Chrome, so that you remember what sites you have used and what date you've accessed them. If you go to the college diary, I can't remember what page it is. I think it's one of the blue pages. We did it in that Year 7 bootcamp. There is a page that shows you how to reference. So please use that when you're referencing. Step 2. Okay, so there are 3 ways that you can present your information from these questions. Okay, so 1 is an iMovie. 2 is a PowerPoint or Keynote, and 3 is a brochure, so like one of those foldy pamphlet looking things, or like a brochure as in a 1 page, or a poster. So, excuse me. If you are thinking of doing a Keynote or PowerPoint, can you, if you haven't already, I'd highly suggest using Google Slides. Google Slides is awesome and it's easy to hand in. Keynote and PowerPoint, Google doesn't really like using them, but you can still do that if you've already started. But if you haven't, please Google Slides. So, firstly, choose the method or the format that you want to work in. Now, the thing is, though, and this is the big catch, is that whatever you choose out of the 3, you need to be able to answer these questions with the verbs that are here. Okay, and I'll explain what these verbs are in a moment, but it's no good you just, identifying things when the question's asking you to explain. So bear with me. Alright, so the first question, define sense of self. So give me a definition of what sense of self is. So sense of self, identity, and describe 3 factors that influence your sense of self. So describe. Describe means to show characteristics and features. What that basically means is tell me what it looks like, feels like, sounds like, anything that is a bit of a description. So if a new person was coming to school and they were your friend and you were to describe me, you would tell them what I look like. You might even tell them some personal qualities so that they know it's me. So then you might say something like blonde hair, wearing sports clothes, really bad jokes. Okay, so you've shown qualities about me. So you need to do the same with the 3 factors that might influence, so has an impact on your sense of self. Okay, that might help shape you. Alright, question 2. List 3 changes you may have gone through during your life. Excuse me. And then for each of them, you need to explain how each change has impacted your life in both a positive and negative way. So let's say if we were doing school, everyone's done this one. You've moved from primary school to high school. you need to explain. So that means you need to use this kind of language. Ready? When you scroll down, cause and effect. Cool. That's what explain means. Explain means cause and effect. So you need to use this kind of language in there. Okay. You can see here, makes, because of, due to, leads to, therefore. Those kind of words show me that you are trying to explain. So you need to tell me how moving from primary school to high school has led to a positive change. So you might say that, a positive change is that you've made new friends. A negative impact would be that you may have lost some friends because they've gone to a different high school. Okay, so you need to give me both the positive and negative, and you need to use that explain language. So use words from this table. Okay. Next one, describe the qualities of a positive relationship. Again, describe characteristics and features. Tell me what it looks like, feels like, sounds like. A positive relationship. You need to tell me the qualities of a negative relationship. Next one is you need to explain how you maintain a positive relationship. So everyone's got positive relationships. Some people have negative relationships. With your positive relationships, you need to explain, again using those words, explain to me how you keep that relationship positive. Okay? How do you maintain it? How do you keep it healthy? Next question, explain what you can do if you are in a negative relationship. So if you've got a negative relationship in your life, what could you do? Now, some relationships you can get rid of, so that might be a strategy, that's something you could do. Some of them, maybe you might want to try and fix it. Maybe you can't get rid of the person, they're stuck in your life. We all have these people. So how would you just manage, how would you deal with that negative relationship? Okay. Last one is describe some people that can help you deal with relationships. Now here it doesn't say negative or positive relationships, so that's quite open. So some people that could help you deal with relationships. Now if you're not already, you're soon to be a teenager, and you'll start noticing that, we've learnt this with puberty, our hormones start releasing, and we start to learn a bit more about ourselves, and our relationships might be a bit deeper. So you need to tell me people that could help you with changing relationships. Okay, so parents, friends, maybe even like a doctor or something. Alright, so you need to join Google Classroom. Now if you haven't already, I can't show you because I'm a teacher on Google Classroom, but if you go to, let's have a look, classroom.google.com, you should be able to put in a code. Okay, when you put in this code that you see here, before Thursday, I might put it up sometime this week, at the end of this week. At the end of this week, I will put up a link and I'll have my picture on there, and it will say 7 Silver assessment upload. Say something like that. 7 Silver, make sure you upload it in the right one. And all you need to do is just upload the file. If you've saved it in your Google Drive, super easy, just click the Drive icon. Otherwise, click that little paper clip and it'll take you to your Finder, and you can select your file from there. Okay, please make sure that you're uploading it in a format that is accessible to me. So for instance, if you are doing an iMovie, you need to export the iMovie. So I don't think even know I have iMovie on here. You need to go File, Share, and I would do probably theatre or file. So I'd suggest exporting it in an MP4 format, okay? Now I need to show you this. This is probably like the most important thing that all students miss. I mean, I missed it at school. Teachers always told me, I didn't listen, I never got the full marks that I could have gotten had I just read the marking criteria. So let's have a look. You have got this marking criteria. Don't worry about handing this in because I will be printing off my own. So you can draw on yours, okay? What I want you to do is to read each dot point, okay? And each dot point refers to an aspect of your assessment task, okay? But this is the thing. The marking criteria tells you a little bit more information that you wouldn't have gotten from the top. So let's have a look at this. Ready? Clearly and concisely presents 8 to 10 points of accurate and relevant information on both positive and negative relationships. 8 to 10 points. If you have a look at this question, it doesn't say 8 to 10 points. You need to read the marking criteria and make sure that you have done what the marking criteria has asked. Because the marking criteria is what I look at when I mark your assessment task. I don't look at the front page. I'll read the front page before I sit down to mark. I'll read it once, 3 times tops, but I'll be going off the marking criteria. Okay, so what I want you to do is for each of these dot points, figure out what question does it refer to. So for this one, if I were doing my assessment task, obviously I'd be writing on my assessment task, I'd say question 1. I'd figure out what this one is. Changes and challenges, it's a discussion. Okay, so that's the second question, so I'd say question 2. And I'd do that for all of them. And then I'd look at my assessment task, look at the marking criteria, and ask myself, have I done what the marking criteria, each dot point has said for each question? There's a few other things, like here you can see cups. If you're not having capitalization, your grammar's out, punctuation, spelling, then you're not going to get the dot point up here for it. You might get something down here. We don't want that. We want it, they're easy marks. Try to make sure that you're covering everything in that top box in the marking criteria. And he uses a range of relevant sources of information. Don't use Wikipedia. You need to use reputable sources like government websites, health websites. Yeah, okay. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Hopefully I've helped in some way. Again, the biggest thing is reading the marking criteria. Okay, good luck. Send me an email or come see me the first week of school. Don't see me, Thursday morning. Come see me before Monday, Tuesday preferably. Wednesday if you're desperate. Okay? Alright, good luck. And I'll see you next week.